Hello and welcome to Cheap Graphic Novels YouTube page. Over at Cgn, we're trying out this YouTube page to make some more content for you guys to show off all the great comics and graphic novels you can get at Cgn, as well as do some live videos to tell you about what books are coming out. My name is Taylor of Taylor Talks Comics. If you might have seen me on the recent Cgn live videos we've been doing. We're going live about once a week to show off the schedule for the next coming books for the next coming week. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss out on when we go live. And make sure to follow us on social media, Twitter and Instagram at CheapGN. I always post on there when we're going live ahead of time. But today I'm going to do a little unboxing. I got my recent box of books from Cgn. I'm a customer just like you guys, so I wanted to show off a book. It's only 2 books, but I wanted to show them off to you guys and show off how great they're packaged if you haven't bought comics from Cgn before, and then go over these. So one of the cool things is that both of these books have been recently listed as out of print, and then they've both come back. One of them, I don't know if you can say officially came back into print or if they just, I'll look today actually, see if it's a second printing or not. But, so here's the box it came in. And as you can see, it's packaged very nicely with some packing paper. Make sure the books are nice, kept and safe. I'll throw this all out of here. And then show you just how tightly packed that is. It's in a nice little, made it like an imprint into the box. So they're super safely packed. You're gonna be able to get your books in great condition. And then they come in a bag like this, just thrown in. Make sure they don't slide around too much. So like I said, both these books were recently out of print, and then and I'll see if they're second printings or not officially in the indicia here. But the cool thing about one of the cool things that we offer at Cgn is the wishlist mode. So if you are looking for a book and you go on the Cgn cheapgraphicnovels.com and it's out of stock, you can add it to your wish list. So then the second that it comes back into stock, the second that Max can put it into back on the website for order, you'll be notified via email, and it'll say like, good news, this book is now in stock, and then you can order it right away. So you don't have to miss a beat on that. So both these books could have been on your wish list, is what my point is. And then you could have been notified via email that they're in stock and you can order them. And they're here. And I just checked. These books both are in stock currently on Cgn. It's website, cheapgraphicnovels.com. So if you see these and you're like, whoa, I needed that book, then you can order it. So the first one is X-Men, It's Always Darkest Before the Dawn, Epic Collection, Volume 4. This is a book that I was really looking forward to because I collect omnibuses and epic collections for Marvel. All the mutant related titles I'm collecting in epic collections. I think besides the 2 Silver Age X-Men, I have those in omnibuses because anything Silver Age I collect in omnibus. But this one's great because this one takes place between those 2 Silver Age X-Men omnibuses by like Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and then later Roy Thomas, Neil Adams. Those 2 omnibuses. And then if you're familiar with X-Men history, you know that there was like a few year gap where there was no X-Men comics. And that's when Uncanny X-Men begins, but it's officially titled Giant Size X-Men #1, and then X-Men number 94, I believe. Someone correct me in the comments. I think it's 94. But that's what kicks off with the Dave Cockrum, Chris Claremont run. So there's a big gap in between there, and that's where all these stories take place. So this includes like 6 issues of Amazing Adventures, an issue of Amazing Spider-Man, 5 or 6 issues of The Incredible Hulk, a couple Marvel team-ups, a couple Avengers, a few Captain Americas, a couple Defenders, Giant Size Fantastic Four #4, and then covers from X-Men number 67 through 93. Yes, so it is 94. And then annual number 1 and 2. Because X-Men 66 is when it got canceled. and then X-Men's numbers 67 through 93 were just reprints of older stories. They didn't include any new content except for the covers. So those are recollected here. Just the covers are. So it gives you that gap of like the only X-Men stuff you missed were those covers. And then you get this. So this is basically all the X-Men characters and what they were doing in between those years. Kind of like a lost years type deal. And this is where the most important thing, Beast turns into furry and blue. So these epic collections, if you're not familiar, are like these 400 to 500 page thick trade paperbacks. And they are, they take each line. So they have like an X-Men, a Defenders, they have Avengers, Spider-Man. Each one gets their own separate line of epic collections. And when it's all said and done, those will be collected chronologically from the beginning to end of that volume 1 before any sort of renumberings or anything. But they're collected but they are published out of order. So like this is volume 4. So far to date, I think Epic Collection X-Men 1 through 9, 1 through 8 or 9, I think. It's either 8 or 9 are collected. So there's not any gaps there, but they are released out of order. So you might see like a volume 17 Epic Collection, and then volume 8, and then a volume 2. But eventually they'll all be collected. So this includes, I guess, who are the artists and writers? You got Steve Englehart, Lynn Wein are the main writers. Then you have content from Jerry Conway, Archie Goodwin, Mike Friedrich, Stan Lee, Chris Claremont. Then you have, for pencilers, you have Sal Buscema, Tom Sutton, Herb Trimpe, Gil Kane, Don Heck, John Buscema, and Jim Starlin. So lots of fun stories that take place in between those kind of lost years of X-Men. And it looks like, yeah, they have some those X-Men covers there too in the beginning, and it starts off with some Spider-Man stories. There's Beast before it becomes furry and blue. So really cool collection. I'm excited to have that one. And then the other one was a book that I was really afraid I was not going to be able to get. And Max from Cgn came across a bunch of stock of these books and then put them on the website, and then they're still available as of the time of this recording. And because it's seemingly long out of print at the point, and just last year they released volume 2. So I'm glad to see that I was able to get this one because it's one of the few Legion of Superheroes books that I was missing in my collection. Actually, the only hardcover that I was missing of Legion of Superheroes. So this is a thick omnibus. This is volume 1 of the Keith Giffen 5 Years Later run. And I want to open up the plastic here because I am curious if this was another printing from DC or if this was just found stock of their first printing. Not that you can always trust the indicia 100%, but we'll see. Here's the dust jacket. The future isn't what it used to be. So this is a darker period of Legion of Superheroes if we're not familiar. And this took place, I believe, in the 80s. And it was the 5 years later storyline is basically, to my understanding, I'm not up to this point in my reading yet for Legion of Superheroes. But to my understanding, it was kind of like the stories for Legion of Superheroes stopped, and then they kind of started this 5 years later. And then as you go on throughout this, there's lots of twists and turns and mystery involved where you kind of find out what happened those 5 years and then what's happening currently. So this does listed as a first printing. First printing as of July 2020. So that's interesting. Has a great table of contents, it looks like, and then it just starts off right with the first issue number 1. And then in the back, we have the Legion of Superheroes personnel files, which are like these write-ups. I think these originally were published in the, what's that called? Not the official handbook. What's the DC Comics one called? I know Marvel had the official handbook. The DC, Who's Who. That's what it was. So I assume that these files are from the Who's Who. But Legion of Superheroes is just great. It has like so many characters. And I'm currently in the Silver Age period. I have the 3 Silver Age omnibuses. which are very much not dark. They're very light and fun and colorful and silly almost. So I definitely like the idea of taking a lot of those same characters and a lot of new ones and then kind of flipping on its head. But yes, so I'm excited for that one. Now, if you're wanting to order these, like I said, they're both in stock currently with cheap graphic novels. The fact that this says first printing on it, I wouldn't hesitate too much to order that. I don't know how many Max has in stock, but this is volume 1. I didn't check to see if volume 2 was in stock, but that one just came out last year, so I assume it wouldn't be too out of print. But that one, like I said, it says first printing on it, so it wasn't a reprint at all. It was just a found stock. So I don't know how many we have in stock at CGN of that, but I would order that relatively soon if it's something that you're wanting. And like I said, it's a thick, I don't know, does it have a page count in it? Let's see. Oh, it does. You're looking at over 1,400 pages, almost 1,450 pages in that thick book. And this one just came out last month. They're reprinted. I believe this is the second printing for this book. Let me check the indicia on this one. I don't know if it'll tell me. Yeah, I don't know. I know it's at least the second printing though, because this just came out the first time a couple years ago. And it is a thicker one. The pages look to, I know some people have some issues with some of the different Epic collections, but the paper stock seems to be pretty thick in this. I can't really see any bleed through on the pages. Sometimes when you get thinner paper, when you get like a lot of white space, you can see through underneath it, but that one I can't. So really well built Epic collection. And that one though, like I said, just came out last month. The second printing did. I wouldn't hesitate too much on that one either. I know Omar from New York Edition always talks about how reprints of the Epic collections get smaller print runs, so they don't get massive print runs like the brand new copies do, brand new volumes and whatnot. So both those are currently in stock at CGN, cheapgraphicnovels.com. Again, this is Taylor. Follow us on social media at cheapgn, and look for us to go live. I think this next live episode will be on Thursday night, which is the 23rd of February. Thursday evening, about 9 p.m. Eastern, probably. Follow us on social media to find out the official time. I'll be going over all the books that are coming out next week. So thanks for tuning in.